for that itch.
Rarely do I see any American Italians eating in here.
But I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
Villkoret är att jag får leva.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Hey there, and welcome to a special Oscar nomination edition of Real Genius. I am Chris Vognar, culture critic for the Dallas Morning News.
And I'm Robert Wilonsky, and I am a golden statue.
So the nominations have come, Robert. I know this because I get up at 6 a.m. once a year, and that was today. That was this morning.
Feels like it was a little early. They didn't get announced till like 7,
I need
right?
to get some coffee and some momentum.
It's weird.
Going in me. The Revenant leads the pack with 12 nominations, including Best Picture. Mad Max Fury Road has 10.
Including Best Picture.
Including Best Picture. The Big Short, your favorite movie, has 6.
Including Best Picture.
As does Spotlight, my favorite movie, including Best Picture.
Right.
Overall, we can talk about some trends and some favorites. I was struck by how completely predictable and vanilla in almost every sense this collection of nominations was. There was almost no surprises whatsoever in a year where I thought there were plenty of opportunities to surprise us.
If there was a surprise, it's maybe Mad Max or George Miller being nominated. Maybe.
I mean, that's been winning all kinds of awards.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest surprise were the fact obviously the people who were not nominated. That's the only surprise, but that's no surprise because what do these even mean anymore?
Well,
what's even the point?
Let's not. If we get existential about this, then we'll just tear our I was going to say tear our hair out, but
I have hair to tear out.
Tear your beard out.
But isn't that the whole point of this conversation? The existential crisis that is the Oscars. I mean, look, the Golden Globes. In fact, maybe the Golden Globes got more things right than the Oscars did.
At least the Golden Globes know what they are.
Right. That's my point. At least the Golden Globes don't pretend to be anything other than foreigners kissing up to celebrities by plying them with alcohol for 4 to 5 months.
And Ricky Gervais insulting everybody.
Right, and then everybody laughing, winking, nudging, and talking about basically how ironic the entire thing is.
So you've got your Revenant.
But this pretends to be serious.
Yeah, Revenant, all Revenant, very serious Revenant.
I mean, I'd rather...
Very serious.
The BAFTAs are a better indication of artistic merit. I don't even know what these are anymore.
They really are what they always were, I think, which is the Academy's, the industry's way of congratulating what it feels like congratulating, and that's all they are. But we continue to be fascinated by them for some reason. I have made my peace with it all. Let's talk about some of the specific. Not just omissions, but I think there were just so many ways that these nominations could have been interesting.
But wait, when you talk about the omissions or who end up, we are talking
let's just call it lack of imagination.
But we're talking about the larger crisis that is the Oscars.
Okay.
Because we're talking about the fact that, nobody deserves an Oscar. 5 people deserve it. 10 people deserve it.
It's Leo's year, man. It's Leo's year.
Nobody deserves it. But that said, to not recognize, to not acknowledge something like Straight Outta Compton or Creed,
or Inside Out, or that
to not nominate Inside Out for Best Picture is as appalling as not nominating
that little movie called Star Wars: Force Awakens. So many ways they could have made this more interesting, just a little bit more interesting.
Right.
And they just skipped pretty much all of them. The Straight Outta Compton screenplay nomination is perhaps the most intriguing of all the nominations. Charlotte Rampling for Best Actress, 45 years, but I kind of saw that coming. It's a great movie, by the way. But yeah, I think there's this crisis that you speak of, I think has been around for a long time. It really seems pronounced this year, though. It's starting to remind me a little bit of the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's like, we would only nominate 8 movies because we don't have to nominate more than that. And
that's more than it used to be.
Yeah, I know. But
even then, you still can't get it right by filling it up with nominees.
It was 9, I believe, last year,
right.
And it was 10 before that. But they really do seem to turn their nose up at
people of color,
adventurous ideas. In the case of Star Wars,
science fiction,
something that is both sci-fi and something that broke the bank,
or comedy when it comes to things like Trainwreck.
Right.
It just doesn't acknowledge or represent the larger movie-going body as a whole.
And Chris Rock will have a lot of fun with that. That's like the one positive of this is that Chris Rock is hosting this year.
I hope he Ricky Gervais the crap out of it, because who cares anymore? I mean, look, I
So bitter.
I'm not bitter. I'm just, I think, realistic. I mean, I sort of watch the way these things trend through the Twitter timeline over the last few days, and I just sort of gotten as weary of this as I've gotten of Powerball talk. When there's a certain point at which there were some movies that I really liked that did not get nominated. That's always going to happen. There were some movies I really did like that got nominated, The Big Short being among them. Adam McKay.
Adam McKay, that's pretty awesome.
That's fantastic. I'm happy about that.
Former head writer of Saturday Night Live.
But to not nominate, to the fact that the only nomination out of Creed is Stallone is hilarious.
It's perfect.
It could not be more symbolic of the effed up nature of the Academy Awards than if they just came out and presented them all while wearing white robes.
It speaks for Oscar. You're right, that is a perfect one.
It is unfathomable to me that this is the day and age in which we live, and yet it should be, I guess, recognized and maybe that's why I'm just so exhausted of it. It's just not interesting. It's just this hackneyed, cliched pattern of patting on its back the same 12 people that they keep congratulating, while occasionally going, well.
And then knighting Brie Larson, saying, "Oh, welcome to the fold. You are our new young favorite to win Best Actress. You are the new Jennifer Lawrence. Congratulations." Even that's predictable.
They did nominate Bridge of Spies, which is fine. I mean, it's not even one of Spielberg's 12 best movies.
It is a really good movie, though.
It's fine. I mean, it would have been, it would have been a fantastic History Channel movie. But it's not anything that I'm going, that's of all the films released the year, that's really one of the best. Who cares anymore?
Since we're getting existential and asking who cares, I wrote my I Hate the Oscars column like 8 years ago. And
I'm pretty sure I wrote one.
And I have since, at a certain point,
Right.
I just made peace with them because I have to.
Well, we all have to. We have no choice.
I see them as an excuse to write about interesting movies now for a second time.
Right.
But while some of the movies are interesting this year, the choices are not at all.
Right.
So
The fact that Inside Out isn't nominated for a best film, this ghettoization of animated films into this one category is still inexplicable to me.
it's like the screenplay categories have always been this sort of runoff for we're not quite ready to acknowledge Do the Right Thing as a best picture nominee, but we'll give Spike a screenplay nomination. Inside Out got a screenplay nomination. Straight Outta Compton got a screenplay nomination. Carol, another one that I think got really badly snubbed.
Right.
The two actresses got nominated almost out of
And then Rooney Mara
out
gets
of necessity.
shoved in the supporting actress category.
Right. I just wish there was a little more imagination on display here.
So what do you think accounts for the lack of imagination? The membership,
Largely the membership. I think as far as the diversity goes, or lack thereof, I think the problem starts with what gets greenlit. I think the problem starts with what's out there. So then, yes, there are these few movies. There are your Creeds and your Straight Outta Comptons and your Beasts of No Nations, which are
Speaking
certainly,
of snubs.
which are, yes, Idris Elba, which certainly.
But you knew it was going to happen because of the Netflix thing. You just knew
Yeah, I
that they were
guess.
going to say, screw you, you were on Netflix first, you're not a movie.
So I think it starts at what actually gets out there in the theaters, and then I think it continues from there into the selection process. I don't think the problem starts with the Oscars. I think the problem starts with the industry and the people who are voting. When will that change? When will the voting body get younger and more diverse? It's happening very slowly.
Sure, you need people to disappear. I don't mean die. I mean, look, we're
Just vanish.
no. I mean, the fact is, we're starting the Oscar. The Oscars were announced shortly after we found out that Alan Rickman died. That's to me, the movie news of the day.
Tough year for Britain.
He's one of
I
my
mean,
favorites.
Tough week for Britain, I should say.
Yeah, 69-year-old Brits with cancer. Hard week. But it's not not when will it change, but how. I don't see this changing anytime soon. Certainly this is just a repeat of where we've been last year and the year before. I can't believe we're still at these moments where we congratulate and we're surprised by, and we every year is going to be the groundbreaking year, and then it's replaced by 2 years of Oscars so
Yeah.
white is the
Literally one
trending
step
hashtag.
forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah, it seems kind of extraordinary to me that this keeps happening, and I keep wondering how much longer it can happen without the industry worrying about alienating.
Oh, they're worrying. Not enough to vote differently, though, it seems.
See, that's where to me the disconnect is so striking, to the point of rendering these irrelevant. But not irrelevant because it does have a tremendous impact on box office, but on perception of the industry. And that's, I think, what I'm sort of trying to get at. To not nominate Creed in any notable category other than Stallone, or Straight Outta Compton, other than screenwriting, sends a real enormous message, I would think, to the industry, that the audience is going to write you off at some point and think you not only are disrespectful, but intolerant.
And out of touch.
Yeah, and out of touch. And I think that would be wildly concerning, and yet they seem not to react to it year after year after year. And I think that's, not only that, but some of them are just not interesting. Some of them just don't make sense. You talk about the fact that they're very predictable, you know.
Is The Martian a great movie?
No, it's a good movie.
It is a good
fun
movie. It is a fun movie.
The fact that Ridley Scott wasn't nominated for Best Director,
There is
I think
wow,
is
I
very
didn't
telling
even, I
of
didn't
the
even
fact.
think about that.
I think it's very telling about the fact that that's how people feel about The Martian. I think they just kind of liked it.
Is Room a great movie?
It's a good movie
It's a good movie.
with some good performances.
Very good performance.
Not a great movie.
I don't know. I am a little baffled.
Son of Saul is a great movie. That should be a Best Movie.
Probably the
nominated.
favorite for best
So that's an
foreign
easily,
language
that's easily
film.
going to win for Best Picture.
And you referred to this. I mean, the movies that may benefit the most are, your best documentary feature nominees and your best foreign language film nominees, which really need box office, which will now have a chance to get a little bit more box office. Amy, the great Amy Winehouse documentary.
But
is
it won't win.
nominated.
It'll lose to one of the documentaries about, international crises.
That can go. It's funny. The documentary is fascinating because it either goes show business. This year we have Amy and we have What Happened, Miss Simone, the great Nina Simone documentary from Liz Garbus. And then you have the 3 international crisis
Right.
documentaries. It's like this straight, division.
You know what's not there?
Almost. What's not there?
Going Clear.
That's true. Yeah, because too many people liked it.
Right. And it's about too many people that are in that room.
Yes, that too.
I mean, it's just, if we accept it for what it is, if we make our peace with it and recognize the fact that it's a really fun Sunday night to drink a lot, to have people over, to have parties, and to make bets on what's going to win and what's not going to win, and if we accept that for all that it is, and that being it, they're fine. I can live with it, I can make my peace with it. But it does give me this further result, it does further distance me from this thing that I love. And I think that's maybe where my problem keeps coming year after year after year. Because you look at what's out there, you look at the performances, you look at the screenplays that got ignored, the directors, the actors, the films, and you keep wondering, you're just patting the wrong backs.
I can't disagree with any of that. So let's close out our Oscar rant for 2016.
That said, I look forward to when we sit here and talk about who's actually going to win in a few weeks.
Jump back into the actual predictions.
I look forward to our
and
previews and our predictions.
Always good. We can vent our spleen some more on the Oscars. Thank you for watching Real Genius.